Coming up on the next episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
In 1993, a man read a Wall Street Journal article about Christmas letters that were sent to the post office from individuals needing help. An idea was sparked. The following year, the founder of the organization that we are about to introduce you to asked his associates at the Concord Therapy Group in Canton, Ohio, to help respond to these unselfish Christmas letters and raise funds in the name of good old St. Nicholas. Project St. Nicholas Returns was born. Meet the good folks behind this wonderful work next on Zuzu All Grown Up.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
You're now listening to Zuzu All Grown Up.
She's been featured in more than 20 films from the early days of film and television.
He is a psychotherapist and her loving husband.
Together, they're on a mission to brighten your day and your life.
It's a time to smile, a time to laugh, a time to expect more.
It's time to get inspired with your hosts, Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Brunell.
It's time to meet Zuzu All Grown Up.
Do you believe that life is wonderful in principle, but for some reason just isn't so consistently in practice? Every life will have its ups and downs. But have you ever thought that if there were only more people around you encouraging, uplifting, and even inspiring you, then life would be more fulfilling? If only people like George and Mary Bailey were in your inner circle, then life could truly be wonderful all the time? If so, we've got good news for you, because you can find such people on this podcast and at zuzunetwork.com. This podcast is the vision of Karolyn Grimes, Zuzu, and Dr. Brunell, illustrating how the timeless message of It's a Wonderful Life can be and is applied to our modern lives and situations. Indeed, when you take that message to heart, your life will become immeasurably more wonderful. Visit us at zuzunetwork.com and listen to this podcast series to learn more about how. Now sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy another episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
Get ready for miracles. Get ready for Zuzu. All Grown Up.
Coming up today on Zuzu All Grown Up, Jeffrey Reale and Mike Seman of the Project St. Nicholas Returns join Karolyn and Chris. They do amazing work. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if this doesn't get you in the Christmas spirit, perhaps nothing will. Welcome, everyone, to today's show. Karolyn and Chris, over to you.
Welcome to our guests, Jeffrey Reale, Project St. Nicholas Returns Chairman and Board Member Mike Seman from Canton, Ohio. Thank you for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about your program.
I basically was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal in 1993. It was about Christmas letters that were addressed and were answered by the post office. I was just thinking about the idea, and I contacted our local post office in Canton, Ohio. I said, hey, do you receive these Christmas letters from Santa Claus or St. Nicholas? And they said, well, yeah. I said, does anybody respond to them at all? And they said, well, by law, we have to open them. I said, well, what do you do with them after that? He said, well, we basically, anybody that wants to come in and wants to address them, we can. I was just thinking of St. Nicholas. He would take toys and things to children, but he would be anonymous. So he would leave, like, especially the women that wanted to get married and the father didn't have enough dowry, he would put gold coins in their shoes on the night before they were supposed to get married so the father could have money to provide to do the wedding. I just talked to my uncle about it. It was Father Lou Mashi. He says, yeah, you could do that. Contacted the post office and they said, yeah, anybody can answer him. I says, well, we want to get the ones that are for other people. So it's not like little Joey asking for a car or truck. It's more like, hey, mom's got some issues. Can you help mom out this time? So we had gotten those letters And I had mentioned it to my staff at Concord Therapy Group in Canton, Ohio, and everyone was on board with it. So it just came up with the name Project St. Nicholas, but he's returning stuff. So that's where the name came from, Project St. Nicholas Returns. And my uncle, as far as he's our priest, he had passed away, but I asked him about like a 501c3, like how that would work. And he's like, well, you can give whatever you want to give away, but if you're going to do that, you need to kind of have a good portion of it going away to some other people. And I said, well, what have you done before with different organizations? And it seemed like everybody was giving like 60% or 70% was going to the actual cause. I just didn't think that was a good number. I said, if people are going to donate money, I want it to go majority. So we shot up to 95%. We said, let's go for 95%. And my uncle was like, okay, that's good. That's a good choice. My guidance was my uncle. And like I said, I got the idea off of a Wall Street Journal article in 1993. Back then in 1993, there wasn't HIPAA. So they would just give us letters and no problem at all. So we would have actual Santa Claus. I had a St. Nicholas guy would actually dress up. So we would contact the family and let them know, like, hey, we're going to actually deliver something. There was just a handful of letters in the beginning back in 1994 when we first started. I got it by word of mouth. So we just kept the fun going. And that's why we started to do the 501c3, because we said, well, not everybody's just going to have trouble at Christmas. It's going to be throughout the whole year. So we found out like someone had cancer and the mom was dying of cancer, and the children asked for a tape recorder so they could tape their mom when she was dying. They would have a recording of her. So back then, camcorders were a little expensive, but we just said, hey, let's just get it for her. Let's get a camcorder, and she can record and see their mom at the same time. So we delivered it. But the thing was, they don't know who it was from, because at the time, the daughter had sent a letter to Santa Claus, to the post office. But now, because of HIPAA and all that stuff, we can't really, there's no more letters. I mean, they probably still get letters, but they don't give them out like they do now. So now it's through word of mouth that we just found out about different people, and we've helped organizations as well. We get responses from people that may contact us, but they're always asking for somebody else, because we don't really address any self requests. It's always for somebody else.
I was wondering if you could share some of those stories in those initial letters.
We've had one that mom had arthritis, and the daughter, a young girl, was just asking for something to help her. And I'm a physical therapist, so I thought, well, you know what? They could use a rocker that could actually help with the range of motion in the hip and the knee. So we actually delivered a rocker to that one. We'd obviously get like a gift card maybe for the mom to go to Walmart or a grocery store so they could shop. We'd always try to deliver it before Christmas, so this way they could actually go out and purchase stuff and feel like, they're giving Christmas to their family. But we would always kind of bring a gift or two for the family as well, for each kid.
Do they actually dress up in Santa Claus?
Yes. Actually, we have Chuck Schuster. He's the one that does it, and he's the best. I mean, he just does a great job. And he actually has like a reindeer. There's a snowman. They just can do a whole bunch if we really ask for anything like that. So if there's little ones, we haven't had as many deliveries recently, because it's just been more like, help me with this, Mike, as far as recent ones that we've had you can think of. Not at Christmas, but just the ones that we've been responding to.
We tend to respond to people that need help, maybe with their vehicle or something like that, gas cards, to help people be able to drive from place to place. Sometimes we get those requests saying that they can't afford the necessary things for schools. So Walmart gift cards that would help out. And I believe it was last year, didn't we deliver 28 microwaves?
The YWCA.
They were in need of microwaves, and some of those people had never even used a microwave before.
Yeah, they have battered women stay at the YWCA, and they have like these small apartments, and they had like 26 of them, and they didn't have funds for this because it goes under a different category. So they basically asked for like 26 microwaves, and we just kind of gave it to them. But we stay pretty anonymous to most of the people that are in help, but we help, like Mike said, with different organizations as well.
Just a couple of years ago, we actually gave a $1,500 scholarship out to a young lady who had lost her mom, believed the cancer, and that the dad was struggling with, having 2 kids down to 1 income. We were able to anonymously give her a scholarship, because even through all those trials and tribulations, she managed to still maintain a 3.9. She still managed to go out and give back to the community, because she knew that her mom would want her to continue to move forward. And, we were able to help out that way, and she had no idea who gave her the scholarship. We found out she was going to a local college, sent the money to him, and it helped her out.
Yeah, we've done that. That's a good point, Mike. We've done now about the last almost 8 years now. Usually, you have those senior nights that give out all those scholarships. So we contacted the counselors at the school to give us some kids that may want to go to school, but can't really afford it as well as some others, financially challenged. But they've done a lot of stuff in the community. They got good grade point average, like Mike said. And so what we do is we have a gift certificate that night. It's just basically called an anonymous scholarship. We don't say St. Nicholas. A lot of them are just in shock. They have no idea. And the money goes directly right to the school. So like this year, I think we did Virginia University and the person was going there. They had no idea, but the money goes right into their account.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
Start your morning right with premium coffee roasts available at zuzunetwork.com and drink them in your Zuzu All Grown Up coffee mug. Also perfect for tea and hot chocolate.
Stay inspired throughout the day with the same gratitude journal used by Karolyn and Chris, and check out t-shirts, hats, books, Christmas keepsakes, and more at zuzunetwork.com/shop.
Join Zuzu's network today at zuzunetwork.com/join.
Karolyn is creating an international network of aspiring angels, everyday people who believe that they can help make the world a better place by making life better for even just one other person.
Let us know you want to earn your wings at zuzunetwork.com/join, and Karolyn and Chris will send you inspirational material to support you in your journey.
We're back with more Zuzu All Grown Up.
Have you ever had a recipient of your gift cards return the favor and donate their time?
We were in our office, a small office in Canton, Ohio. We had found out about a family, and here the parents had both lost their jobs, and they had a couple kids, and someone had just requested, one of the therapists said, hey, this family needs help. So what we did is we gave a $300 gift card to Walmart, I believe, at this time. It was kind of funny because then I had this seminar I went, they were just asking about nonprofit organizations. They were asking, what's your actual goal? What are you trying to prove, when you're doing the, and I'm trying to think, we're kind of giving things away, but we're just trying to do the right thing. But we don't really know if we're doing the right thing. And so then somebody called in the seminar and said, well, we're a suicide hotline. If they don't answer the phone back when I call back again, does that mean we failed? So then a month later after the seminar, it was driving me crazy because I'm like, what's our goal? What are we trying to do? And so here in my box at the office, someone had put 3 $100 bills in my envelope in my box. And it was this family. We had heard something. We're not sure if this is where it goes to, but if it isn't, that's okay. Give it to somebody else. But it was that family and she wrote on there like, hey, we got our jobs back. It's just thanks for helping us out. That's one of the stories we do get back. We don't always hear about it. That's one we got back.
How are you funded?
It's all private funding. We basically had a couple of different fundraisers, polar bear jumps, that kind of stuff. But we had an auction. We started out their first year at my uncle's parish. He says, why don't you guys just do an auction here? Just start. We had like an auction dinner dance. So we raised $2,300 the first year. So since then, we're still at the same place. And the caterer, it's kind of like his donation. He gives us everything almost, not for free, but he gives us really a great deal. We get everything donated, and Mike can attest to this stuff. The past few years, we've raised like 54, 55,000, and then we get private funding. People just donate. People can go online and put money in. And honestly, the one time we were down to, I think, $100. This is the week before Christmas. And here we had 3 more requests. Okay. And we're like panicking. What are we going to do? I said, you know what? Let's just go through the formula because we were really big on the formulas then. I said, let's just pretend we got the formula. We had these 3 requests. So the next morning I go to the P.O. box at the post office and there's a check for $750.
We just go out and we ask everybody and anybody, $5, $10. We'll take a ream of paper and we'd be giddy with smiles on their face that somebody donated a ream of paper to us. Because like Jeff said, the goal is to get 95% of that money paid back out. Everybody that works with Project St. Nicholas Returns is volunteering their time and any extra resources that we have or that they have to help out with the cause. Because for me, just knowing that we're giving back to the people that need it, that hopefully we can make a difference. Now, we may never get feedback, but in our hearts, we know that we're making a difference. That's what it's all about.
So what we don't do is we won't go to grants because, you've got to cross the T's, dot the I's. We don't really want to worry about that stuff. I don't want to try to get money and just beg for money that way versus, hey, people have just really good hearts. They're going to give, they know where we're going. They know where it's going. And we always give the statistics out. So every time they come to the auction, they kind of know where it's coming from. And we open up pretty much to our counties that are right around us. So Stark and Summit County are pretty much Akron, Canton area. So those are a majority of the requests we get from. And it's through word of mouth, but we will question, if it comes through the email, we have in the response to that, who do you know on the board? Or who do you know, how did you find out about us? So we always ask how they found out about us because it's a well-kept secret, but yet it's wide open. So it's kind of scary, who do you respond to? And it's always for someone else. So if they request and you see the request and it's coming in, it's the same phone number, same email, and they're requesting for the same phone number, same email, I respond back with an email and say, okay, here are a bunch of different organizations. We might not be able to help you at this time.
How many families and individuals did you support the first year of your program?
I want to say maybe about 7 is what we did. And this past year, 148 families, 283 children, 3 individuals. And then we just started to help school systems. So we actually helped 32 school systems out. And then we actually helped 19 other organizations. We'd send them a questionnaire and said, well, how much is Project St. Nicholas part of your funding? So when we saw 0.2% or 3%, we were just okay, they don't really need us versus the ones that respond back well, you guys are about 30 or 40% of what we get. Anything you want to add on that, Mike?
The schools that we've really been hitting lately, I believe we put together over 90 care package boxes. When you get the feedback from the schools, you don't realize how many kids need help. You just assume that if they're in a neighborhood that everybody's happy-go-lucky and everything, and then you realize, wow, there's people that are struggling that you just don't know about. Again, I like the fact that we help out, the little organizations, the people that need it the most, the people that just don't have the wherewithal on how to get that help or even the courage to ask for it.
It's not only the packages that Mike said we put together, it's for the family too. They've got soap, they've got laundry detergent, there's just different things. And then if we hear something specifically, maybe from one of the counselors, hey, this family needs a little extra. So that's when, we find out a little bit more. And then that might be a delivery or, at least we're going to at least do something for the family. God is helping us out this whole situation. I kind of propose, why don't we give a Bible out? Say, Carolyn, you had requested, your family, or say, people next door, the house burned down. So then what you do, we find out about it. We put the request in. Okay, we come up with our formula, but then we always try to go over anyway. All of a sudden, we might say, okay, you know what, let's give $400 and a gift card to Stella and her family. So we put it in a Bible at Matthew 6, verse 4. So when you give in secret, your Father gives in secret, and he's going to reward you openly. So now, Carolyn, when you get the Bible, and it's in Matthew 6, verse 4, you give it to Stella, and Stella's like, well, who's this from? It's like, well, someone's just watching out for you. Even though it's you, you're watching out for her, but, you stay anonymous. You don't tell her about us. You don't say you're the one requesting it. You give it to her. So she's going to pay it forward someday that when she gets out of that situation, just like the guys that gave me the $300 back. That's how we pretty much try to do it.
Kind of like a secret Santa.
There's a lot of different variations, and I know there's a lot of organizations that do similar stuff. We've just been sticking with that. It seems to be working so far.
Well, you've been bringing up your uncle a few times.
Now it's called the Father Lou Needy Fund. So our new priest, he's been dealing with it, and he just kind of deals with different people that need help. And my uncle, he would actually put in probably half of his salary into this fund. And he would do it anonymously. I guess he was kind of like my St. Nicholas in a way. So he always inspired me on that stuff.
Your website mentions that you've joyfully collected and given over $1 million to others in need. Let them do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to give, willing to share.
There was one guy, and I just proposed the idea about doing the Bibles. And his first response was, well, what if they don't believe? And then I didn't say anything. And my one lady responded, goes, well, maybe they will now.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
To find out more about the organization featured in today's episode or a previous episode, and to learn more about how you can help, go to zuzunetwork.com/beanangel.
Finish your high school diploma for you and your family. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Have you heard? Affordable healthcare is better than ever. And right now there are more carriers and plans to choose from. If you're between 18 and 64 years old with a household income of $25,000 or less, this message is for you. Right now, the government's Affordable Care Act is available for individual and family health coverage plans with little to no cost to you. Don't gamble your health. Call Health Care for All. 70% of callers qualify for a zero-cost healthcare coverage. See if you are one of them. Call now. Our agents are standing by to help you get the health insurance plan you and your family needs and deserves. If you're uninsured or struggling to afford your current health insurance, help is just a phone call away. This is not Medicaid or Medicare. This is the marketplace with the largest selection of healthcare plans from the Affordable Care Act. To find a plan that's right for you, call 800-788-2406. That's 800-788-2406.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and don't have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-348-7312. 800-348-7312.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you don't pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call if you've been injured in an auto accident. Call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-348-7312. 800-348-7312. 800-348-7312.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
Zuzu's book club features recommendations from Zuzu herself on books she loves and thinks you will love also. All of the books that the club reads, fiction and nonfiction, are inspirational and uplifting. Folks, this is a life-enhancing club to be part of. You can sign up for free at zuzunetwork.com/book club. That's zuzunetwork.com/book club.
This is Zuzu, all grown up.
Even the one during COVID, we didn't have our auction. So, and that's our major fundraiser, right? So we said, well, let's just send a letter out just to see if people will respond to maybe just give us some money. We got almost $50,000.
I'd like to think that Jeff's uncle had a hand in Jeff actually becoming a deacon, because he's great at leading us. Our group start out in prayer when we get together for our meetings and stuff. And, I think that's important. I don't think it's going overboard. I think when people see that, honestly, I look back at it, it's a wonderful life. I watch that every year with my wife. Christmas Eve, it's a tradition, and you never know how well you have it until you see what the flip side of things could be. Try to step up to the plate, help these other people, and let them realize they're not out there alone. There's people out there that care. There's people out there that can help. I think that's what we try to do. And if you put a little bit of religion into them, that maybe they will believe, and maybe they will see that somebody is watching over them without trying to force it, kind of thing.
Each person matters. That's what really I hear from you, and that you want to see that each person is taken care of, which I think is really remarkable. So can you give us just some idea of the type of items that businesses and individuals donate for your annual auction?
Well, we have businesses that have donated vacations a week, maybe down in Florida, the Greenbrier down in Virginia. We have businesses that donate golf on. So we have Firestone Golf Course up here. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. It used to be on a PGA tour. So we have people that give away foursome passes to that. Last year, I think we had one company donate a burnt wood oven and then a burnt wood pizza oven for auctions. We've had Goodyear donate blimp ride. It's just a wide range of things. One year we brought Jim Tressel in. He came there, signed autographs for everybody. So that was a huge bonus to make sure that the room was filled. And I don't really think anybody worked too hard to get room filled that night.
We have like maybe about 3 or 4 items we do oral auction, but a lot of it's silent auction items stuff and 50-50 Brad, that kind of stuff. But you just made me think of the Jim Tressel thing. So Mark Esber, he's our auctioneer. And this guy could sell you anything. My gosh, he's just unbelievable. So anyway, on the spot, he tells Tressel, he goes, hey, how about if we do a luncheon and people pay to have lunch with you? We'll have it up to 20 people, whatever it was. Not only did he do one luncheon, he did 2 luncheons for us. I mean, he raised the money for us.
Our listeners that don't know who Trussell is, could you share with us?
Well, he was with the Ohio State football program, took him to the national championship, and then he went to Youngstown State, I believe, after that. He was in Syracuse for a little while, too.
So if you had a Christmas wish, what would that be for your program?
Yes, I guess it's just that we continue on to do our work and the Lord's work on everything that we're doing. There's always one thing that just keeps multiplying, because I think, change is scary, but change is good. Some people want to stay the same route, no doubt, because it's just more comfortable in staying that way. But I think as we grow, you're going to change, because there's so many different organizations out there that do great stuff. We're just the tip of the iceberg. If we can keep going, that's great. Mike, what about you? What do you think?
I got involved, started going to the functions that Jeff had maybe 3 or 4 years into this. My wife and I had always picked out various charities that we would give to or donate to or go to functions and stuff. This one stuck with us. This one hit us pretty good, that we continue to come back year after year, not only as a participant, but then we started volunteering our time. And then a couple of years ago, Jeff asked me to join the board and stuff. I love the ability that we have been changing and that we're helping people. Really, and that we're anonymous. I don't like attention drawn to myself. So the anonymity of it is right up my alley, because I just want to see the smile on the kid's face if a kid's able to go to school because we're able to help them out. So as long as we keep doing that and we keep progressing, and God willing, that's all I would like to see.
I think Clarence is watching over you guys. Well, if any of our listeners today want to contact you to donate, how can they do that?
psnrinc@gmail.com or at psnr-oh.org. Yeah, that's probably the best thing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, well, thank you guys. We appreciate you just inviting us.
Remember that every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
The spirit of St. Nicholas is alive and well thanks to people like Jeffrey, Mike, and the supporters of Project St. Nicholas Returns. You're listening to Zuzu, all grown up. I'll be right back after this message with final thoughts.
Do you know someone who is earning their wings? Someone practicing kindness and service to others? Perhaps an organization or initiative helping make the world we live in a kinder, sweeter place.
Or maybe you've witnessed the miraculous, the divine, the magnificent in some way in your life, and you'd like to share it with others. Go to zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory and let us know more.
You may end up being featured on an upcoming episode of Zuzu All Grown Up. That's zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory. Now here's Seth Kennedy with today's parting thoughts.
It started with a simple mission to actively apply the golden rule by anonymously assisting others facing challenging times. Project St. Nicholas is a shining example of what applying the golden rule can do to brighten our world, not just at Christmas, but throughout the year. Some people say rules are meant to be broken, but not this one. The golden rule will only make your own life as golden and blessed as that of those whom you apply it to when you have the chance. If we can keep that one rule, the world will be a much better and kinder place. Thank you for joining us. I'm Seth Kennedy, and this is Zuzu, All Grown Up.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
We hope you've been inspired to live your most wonderful life now and to help those around you do the same.
Remember, no matter what you're going through, no matter who you are, there are people who care about you, and your life makes a difference.
It is a wonderful life.
Check out zuzunetwork.com for more on today's and other episodes, including transcripts and merchandise you won't want to be without.
New episodes are coming soon.
For transcripts of today's broadcast, go to zuzunetwork.com/transcripts.
Each month on the 25th, that's 25/25 on the calendar, we'll have a special episode dedicated to Christmas to keep the spirit alive throughout the year. We hope with a little extra help from our podcast and possibly 3 ghosts, you will be honoring Christmas in your heart and trying to keep it all the year, just like Dickens would have wanted. Watch a video clip of today's episode at www.instagram.com/Zuzu, all grown up. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu, all grown up. Then click on the Reels tab from the top of the center of the page. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at www.instagram.com/Zuzu, all grown up. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu, all grown up. Catch up on past episodes and discover currently premiering and upcoming episodes as well, and get helpful links and exclusive clips from our recordings. That's www.instagram.com/Zuzu, all grown up.
Zuzu All Grown Up with your hosts Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunell.
Announcer and guide Seth Kennedy.
Executive producer Kevin R. Stillmock.
Coordinating producer Holly Ann Way.
Technical producer Stella Joelle.
Managing producer Karina Filatova. A Wonderful Land production.
In collaboration with Radio Wonderful.